Every single pill in your parents' medicine cabinet was prescribed by a doctor who genuinely wanted to protect their health. 14 different bottles from 5 different doctors means nobody is watching what those drugs do to each other inside them. Your parent feels foggy, dizzy, and exhausted every morning, and everyone blames aging instead of blaming the pills themselves. Your parent's survival this year may depend on whether those critical medications are taken correctly every single time at home. 125,000 to town. That is how many Americans die every year because their medications are taken incorrectly. Your parent's next hospitalization may not come from their disease at all, but from their daily medication routine instead. The most alarming part is that your parent is likely taking the wrong dose at the wrong time right now, today.
This video is for educational purposes only and does not replace professional medical advice from your doctor. Medication non-compliance in the elderly is a massive public health crisis, and most families never realize it until hospitalization occurs. Studies estimate that 50% of elderly patients do not take their prescribed medications correctly on any given day. It is not just forgetfulness either, because some skip doses due to side effects they are too embarrassed to report. Others stop taking their medications entirely because they feel better, and wrongly assume the underlying problem has fully resolved. Cognitive decline makes everything worse over time because short-term memory is always the very first thing to go in aging. Understanding exactly why non-compliance happens is the essential first step toward preventing it effectively inside your own family.
Let us start with the most basic step that almost every family skips, which is creating one complete list of every medication. You cannot manage what you simply cannot clearly see organized in one single accessible place right now in your home.
Sit down with your parent and write out every single medication they are currently taking from every single doctor. Do not stop at prescriptions either, because you must include over-the-counter drugs, vitamins, and all herbal supplements on the same list. Without the exact name, dosage, frequency, and timing, no doctor can ever identify which combination is harming your parent. Write down which medications must be taken with food and which must be taken on a completely empty stomach every day. Most families miss the most critical detail, which is the known drug interactions and warnings printed on the pharmacy label. Keep one printed copy on the refrigerator and one copy inside your parent's wallet or purse at all times without exception. Update this list every single time any medication is added, changed, or discontinued by any treating physician going forward. Many dangerous interactions happen simply because no single person ever has the complete medication picture in one accessible place.
A simple 7-day pill box sounds old-fashioned, yet it remains one of the most effective tools in geriatric medicine today. This single plastic container can actually prevent more hospitalizations than most families ever realize is even possible at home.
Purchase a clearly labeled pill organizer with separate individual compartments for every morning dose and every evening dose. Then every Sunday, sit down with your parent and fill the entire organizer together for the full coming week ahead. This simple weekly ritual actually serves two critical purposes simultaneously that most caregivers completely underestimate right now today. First, it ensures every single dose is prepared correctly before the week begins and before any daily pressure arises. It also immediately reveals if a dose was missed because the compartment will still be unexpectedly full inside the box. Color-coded organizers help patients with early visual or cognitive changes to navigate their daily medications independently at home. For complex regimens with 4 or more daily medications, a 4-compartment daily organizer works even better for clarity. This one simple tool used consistently has been shown to dramatically reduce medication errors and prevent costly hospitalizations.
Modern technology has made daily medication compliance easier than it has ever been in human history before this moment. Most elderly patients and their families are still not using these simple tools to protect themselves effectively right now.
Set recurring daily alarms on your parent's smartphone for every single required medication time throughout the entire day. A generic alarm is not enough, so label each one clearly with the exact medication name so there is no confusion. If your parent is comfortable with snarf feeds, dedicated medication reminder applications like MediSafe work remarkably well for this. These apps send push notifications, track compliance, and can even alert a family member if a dose is missed today. For parents who prefer simplicity, a basic kitchen timer set at the same time every single day also works perfectly well. The key is building one consistent external trigger that does not depend on your parents' memory working alone every day. Cognitive decline always attacks short-term memory first, and simple external reminders compensate intelligently for this gradual loss over time. Consistency of timing also dramatically improves the actual pharmacological effectiveness of many commonly prescribed daily medications for you.
Elderly patients frequently stop taking medications silently, and they never tell anyone they stopped or explain the reason why. Understanding why they stop is the only way to prevent a dangerous gap in their treatment plan right now as a caregiver.
Ask your parent directly and regularly whether any of their current medications is making them feel unwell or uncomfortable. Most elderly patients feel too embarrassed to trouble their doctor with what they consider minor everyday complaints about medicine. They assume that side effects are simply something they must endure without any complaint or discussion at all with anyone. Nausea, dizziness, fatigue, constipation, and appetite loss are all common side effects that doctors can actually address effectively. Unaddressed side effects become the #1 reason that elderly patients quietly stop taking their most critical medications entirely. Stopping a blood pressure medication abruptly, for example, can trigger a dangerous and potentially fatal hypertensive crisis in minutes. Stopping an anticoagulant without proper medical guidance can lead directly to a stroke in high-risk elderly individuals at home. Boss, your role as a caregiver is to be the bridge between your parents' real daily experience and their physician's medical knowledge.
The more complex the daily medication regimen becomes, the higher the chance your parent will make a dangerous mistake. Most families never think to ask the doctor directly whether the entire list can actually be simplified right now today.
Schedule a dedicated appointment with the sole purpose of reviewing and simplifying your parents' entire medication list today. Then ask the doctor directly which of these medications is absolutely essential for your parents' daily safety right now. Ask whether any medications can be combined into a single daily dose instead of being taken multiple times each day. Here is what most families miss. Completely ask whether older prescriptions started years ago may no longer be medically necessary. Medication reconciliation is a standard geriatric protocol, yet most elderly patients never receive it unless they specifically request it. The real problem is that many elderly patients carry prescriptions from multiple specialists with no coordinating doctor at all. A primary care doctor reviewing the entire complete list often identifies dangerous redundancies and hidden drug interactions quickly. Fewer medications taken correctly is always medically superior to many different medications taken incorrectly every single day overall.
Many elderly patients on fixed incomes silently skip medications they cannot afford, and they tell absolutely no one about it. Admitting you cannot afford your medicine feels shameful, and that shame is literally killing people every single day in America.
Prescription medication costs in the United States are among the highest in the entire developed world right now today. A significant percentage of elderly patients on fixed incomes routinely ration their most critical daily prescription medications silently. The way they ration is terrifying because they split pills, skip doses, or simply stop filling prescriptions they consider too expensive. This happens in complete silence because admitting financial hardship feels deeply shameful to many proud older adults in America. You must ask your parent directly and privately whether they are ever unable to afford any of their medications right now. Then research the patient assistance programs that major pharmaceutical manufacturers specifically offer for their most expensive brand-name drugs. Many brand-name medications have generic equivalents that are equally effective at a small fraction of the total cost today. Programs like GoodRx and Needy Meds can also dramatically reduce out-of-pocket costs that seniors pay at the pharmacy counter daily.
For patients with significant cognitive decline, no amount of reminders or organizers will reliably keep them safe on their own. Modern technology can now replace human supervision entirely, and this is the most important tool I can recommend to you today.
Automatic medication dispensers preload all of your medications and release the correct dose at exactly the correct scheduled time. They sound an audible alarm when it is time for each dose, and lock all other compartments completely and securely from access. The most valuable feature is that many models send remote alerts to family members if a scheduled dose is not taken. This technology is specifically designed for patients who can no longer reliably self-manage their daily medication regimen at home. It removes the constant burden from both the patient and the exhausted caregiver simultaneously and dramatically at the same time. The initial investment ranges from $100 to several $100s depending on the specific model you choose to purchase. For a patient taking multiple critical medications, that initial investment is absolutely justified both medically and financially today. Preventing a single hospitalization from one medication error saves far more money than the cost of any dispensing device overall.
Medication management in the elderly is not a minor administrative task, and it is clinical medicine that determines survival outcomes. The decisions made around a pill box every morning and every evening directly affect whether your parent stays alive this year. Your attention to this one single area as a family caregiver protects your parent more than almost anything else you do. You do not need to be a nurse or doctor, and you need organization, consistency, and the willingness to ask questions. The difference between safe medication use and a fatal error often comes down to one single person paying close attention. Subscribe, tap like, and share this with someone who is caring for an elderly parent on multiple medications right now. Drop a comment below telling me how many medications does your parent take, and has anyone ever reviewed their entire list?